Well, good day, everybody. Glad you can join me today. Today, I'm working on making myself a leather tripod bushcraft chair. But what I want to do is I want to make a template. So I'm using this sheet of plywood, which is only 1/8 of an inch thick. So I want to make a triangle with 3 equal sides. So basically, I'm going 22 inches across the bottom. Right here is the halfway point, which is 11 inches. So I just drew a line right up the plywood. Then I went from this corner, measured where 22 inches was, put a little bit of a line. And then same here, measured from my other mark all the way up to 22 inches. And again, put another line. Then I used my straight edge, drew it out. Then I want round corners, so I grabbed myself a roll of tape, put it in the corners, touched it equally on both sides, and on the line, drew it around, and that's what I used, a roll of tape for my 3 corners. The roll of tape is so what I got to do now is just cut everything out with my jigsaw. I'm going to sand the rough edges. Then I'm going to go cut some leather. Stay tuned. Okay, so I finished the template. There it is there. Okay, that's my back side. That's my clean side. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the leather, draw on the opposite side. This is your clean side. I'll trace it all out, cut it. But what I'm also going to do is right here, it's all going to be reinforced. So at all 3 corners, I'm going to have a piece of leather also glued on to the other leather. Then I'm going to make one a little wider, about a 1/2 inch wider on each side, so that when I bunch it up, it'll make a pocket. Okay, so just picture a pocket right here. So I'm going to do that to all 3 corners. But right now, I'm just going to take this, I'm going to cut out my, my seat, then I'm going to cut out all my pockets and all my reinforcements for the corners. And what I'm using here is 6 ounce. That's 6 ounce leather. All right, so I'll get that all cut out and I'll get back to you. All right. So there you go. I cut the triangle out. So there it is. Looks not too bad. It came out pretty good. Now I cut one section, like I was saying, this section here, and that's just going to be a reinforcement. So it's going to look like this, even though this is just tarnished a bit. Okay. So this is going to be the good side. So when you flip it over, I did one patch. Okay, it's going to go, and it's going to overhang about a 1/2 inch. It's going to go roughly right here. All right, and I'm going to glue it in place. And I'm going to do that to all 3 corners. Then after it's done, when you look at the other side, it's going to overhang a great deal, and then I'll just trim that real nice. And that's only going to be glued. That's it. It's just going to be glued. I'll do that to 3 corners. Then I'll make another 3 more of these, but I'll put them flush to the top, and like it's going to be a 1/2 inch on each side, and basically it's going to come a 1/2 inch wide only to the peak here, to where the bend starts. And then from here, it's going to taper out to a 1/2 inch. That way, when I do buckle it, it'll create a pouch. All right. So what I'll do is I'll cut a whole bunch of these out of my other remnants, and then I'll get back to you, and then we'll glue them on, and then we'll make the other pockets a little wider. All right. So I decided to make 3 chairs. Since I was on a roll, I figured why not. Okay, so I got 3 chairs on the go. These here are all just the reinforcements. That's all they're good for. And I'm going to glue them on using the Lepage contact cement, heavy duty. Now that it's glued, all you do is trim it off for a perfect fit. All right, I got 1 complete, 2 more to go. I got the reinforcement safety corners all on, and I just got to do the pockets. So this one's completed, looks good. The pockets are generous. I like that. Turned out pretty good. Now it's been Dremeled through the corners, cleaned up pretty good. I also beveled everything, all the edges. I just got to choose my dye, and the whole thing is going to get dyed. Then I'm going to choose what type of thread I'm going to use, and I'm going to have a single thread coming in about 3/16 of an inch all the way around. And then for all the pockets, I'm going to come in another 1/8 of an inch and do a second pass just where the pockets are. It'll give it a little bit more strength. That's going to last somebody quite a while. So, anyways, turned out pretty good. Once it's done, I'm going to give a nice generous amount of mink oil. I'm going to apply a lot of torquing to it so it breaks up the fiber a little bit. And that way it makes it easier to pack. And yeah, turned out pretty good. I'm totally pleased with it. But I just also want to let you guys know that there's a lot of people on the internet that have all kinds of projects like this. This is not something I invented. You know what I mean? I've seen so many videos, but this here is just my take on it. All right, so I got 2 more to do, and I'll get back to you on that. All right, so I have all 3 seats complete. All the pockets are on. Everything's been varnished. Everything trimmed up. Now I'm going to do some dye work. And basically, I'll put one of them probably dark brown. I'll use light brown. I'll use Pro Dye from Beveling's. It's just what I have. I also have gel, which is aging, so it's like it'll give it that old vintage look. So I got medium and light. The medium I'll probably put with the dark, and I'll match the 2 lights up. I always have these are applesauce containers. I keep them all, and I use them to pour in all my liquids. I use old dishcloths, as you can see, like this. And what I'll do is I'll use this with mink oil after everything is dried. And I'll use the mink oil, give it a good treatment. I'll use leather balm or tocono, and I'll varnish all the edges. And to apply, I always use a dabber when I'm applying the dyes. But this time, I want to give it streaks. I want to give it wear. So I'll use a sponge, and we'll see what we get. All right, so that's what I'm going to do next. I'll get everything ready, and I'll start dyeing, and I'll get back to you. All right. So I'm doing the mink oil now, and I've been asked several times with my belts, knife sheaths, and everything that I make, how much mink oil I put on my leather, and I'm going to show you. Since it's a heavy topic, see right here, you can see all the mink oil on it. Okay, little swirls. Now, I've been working on this one for about half an hour, and this is what's left. Now I'm just going to let that dry and let the leather soak it in. And then after that, I'm going to do a final coat. So this one here is complete for now. This one here I never done yet. All right. So anyways, and same as my other one right here. It's not been done yet. Okay, it's still dry. All right. When it comes to this, I'm pretty generous. Just to give you an example, I don't know if you could tell, but that was full when I started. That was a brand new one. So there you go. I got a nice amount on there. Okay. Now I'm just going to work it in, and I'm just going to cover the surfaces. I'll hold the just going to work it in a little bit. Grab from here, do the edge, put some more in the middle. Okay. All right. And then I do the edge. I always seal the edge And then I'm going to burnish all the edge again later on with the Toconol or the leather balm. But for now, I got to make sure I seal it all. Grab some of this. Now, as far as the back goes, I'll do that later on once it's dry. The main concern right now is the sitting area. Okay, this I can move out of the way. And as you can see, there's lots and lots on here. All right. Now, same as my cloth is saturated. Now, this cloth here, I've been using for almost 2 years. And this is an empty container. Same as this one. I've been using this one for about a year, a little over a year. Okay, but I use this one here on my light browns. And I use this one here on my dark browns. I just fold it up, stick it in the bottom, and then this one here goes on top, and then I seal it up with this. I never get rid of these, and I never clean them. I just leave them like that. So this one will be for the light one, and this one's for the dark one. And believe me, saturated like crazy. I just start in the middle and do little circles all the way around. And I keep on going. And I rub whatever I can in. I'm putting just a little bit of pressure. Okay, then I'll do the edge. All right, then I work up the pocket. When I get to the pocket, I do the sides. Grab the new pocket. Grab the pocket. There you go. All right, so that's what you got. I put lots on because I want the water to beat off all my leather work. I don't skimp when it comes to putting mink oil on. To me, it makes your leather pliable, and it's going to last you for years and years and years. If you keep doing this, I can't see why that seat's not going to last you 70, 80 years. You know, just keep adding this stuff to it every couple of years. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking through abuse. I'm talking leather rot, cracking, and whatever. All right? You got to keep it nice and sealed, and you got to keep it from drying out. And this mink oil, to me, I don't know, it's the best. When I do all my sheaths in this, I get a nice finish to it. I'm happy with it. If I get caught out in the rain, I'm totally not worried whatsoever. Totally not worried. And then, what was it? I think it was last year. I did a very, very small touch-up on all my leather. And matter of fact, I used this, and I didn't apply anything. I just used whatever was on here, and I just gave it a wipe and then rubbed it in a little bit. And it didn't take much just to bring it all back up. But anyways, now that I got this, I'm just going to work it in, little circles, and I'll work it in until it looks like that. And every time I go from corner to corner, I always do my edges. And then that way when I go to the next corner, I do the same thing, and then I work it in. Okay, so I'll just continue on, and after I'm done, we'll take another look at it, and then I'll pick some thread. All right. I want to cover a few things. a lot of stuff, like when you research it through YouTube and stuff like that, there's a lot of good videos out there on how to make a tripod seat using leather, using wooden dowels or whatever, right? But a lot of the videos don't really get into depth on what to expect. How long does it take? You know, stuff like that, because they always cut it out. But I'll tell you something. Whenever I'm making knife sheaths or anything to do with leather or whatever, and if I really think hard in making my design, I will use paper first, design a sheet, and then once the sheath is made, I keep the paper on file. In this case, I didn't use paper, I used a piece of plywood. Because I think that there will be some people out there that would like to have one, and this is going to take a lot of stress off me, because it's going to be easy to cut out my design rather than try to trace paper. It's easier to trace the plywood. So just letting you know, if you're going to make more than one, at least make your jig out of plywood. All right. So now, I'll tell you right now that this is the complete. Okay, I use different threads. There's yellow, there's orange, and then this one here I did in red. All right, now it took a while to make these, because first I cut out all my patterns. Then I used my Lepage glue, contact cement, and I glued on the safety part to thicken it up, right? Then I also glued on the pockets. Let it dry. After that, I chose my colors and dyed everything in the front. That took a couple of, at least two good coats. Then I let it dry for 24 hours. That way I can see exactly what I'm getting. Then once that's done, I also dyed the back. And I made sure I dyed the back because it'll seal it, right? And that also took 24 hours to dry. All right. So now you know how long it took me just to dye it. But I also used my mink oil, and I'm telling you, I coated this and I rubbed it in like crazy. And that took a long time to seal that. So I did all three, and I let that dry for over 24 hours. Then when I came back, I did the backside as well. And I think you should, especially when you're talking like an outdoor chair or something like that. You know, if you're caught in the rain or whatever, it's gonna be more of a benefit if you do the backside. And again, that took another 24 hours to dry. Then after that was done, then I had to examine all my dye to make sure that it's exactly what I wanted. Okay? The red one looks good. Yellow one looks good. Now this one here, I wanted to have like stripes through it. You can kind of see it where it's different colors, but after I did all my mink oil, it darkened it a little bit. But you know what? That's okay. To me, that turned out great. So now, that's how long it took me to do that process. So now everything is made. After everything's made, I have to use my pricking irons. I got the different sizes. All right. Now the one that I used was the 4-prong, and I used the 2-prong. And the 2-prong is for all my tight corners, and then the 4-prong I use for everything else. So them are the two that I used. All right. Along with my mallet. In doing that, that's a lot of holes, okay? So what I did is I used my scriber here and I kind of measured where I wanted all my holes in my stitching line. So that's what I used for my measurement. And then I kind of just made a light line all the way around and then doubled the corners. That alone, just for making the holes, took me 1:15 to 1:20 minutes per item. Just making the holes. All right. Now once that was done, I stitched all the insides. Okay? All the insides. And just by stitching the insides, again, that was 1:20 minutes just to do each one. So it's 1:20 times 3, right? Now to do just the outside stitching, that was 3 hours and 15 minutes just for the outside. Now, the first one that I did was a little longer. And these two were around the 3 hours 20, 3 hours 15. So I figured 3 hours 15 is the average for the outside. So just the stitching itself was 4.5 hours. You know what I mean? So that's quite a bit of work. But anyways, it's done now. So all I got left to do is the legs, and that's going to be my next step, is to do the legs. You can keep this the way it is, and it'll fold up pretty good. You know, you can fold it up any which way you want. You can roll it up. You can stick it in the back of your backpack or whatever, or you can leave it open and stick it in the backpack. All right, and that'll just add support also. So it's easy to carry around with you. You don't need anything else but this. And then once you get out into the bush or your campsite or whatever, then you can cut 3 poles. Just got to make sure they're at least about an inch, inch and a half round. Okay, however long you want. Lash them together, and that'll be your seat, right? You know what I mean? That's what's going to make your seat. But what I did is I went out and I got some wooden dowels, and that's what I'm going to make for my legs. So I'm going to put this away for now, and we're going to take a look at what I'm going to use for legs. All right. Now, these are done. Time to work on the legs. What I chose was wooden dowels from my local hardware store. Now these here are not white pine. They're a hardwood. 1.1 inch. All right. What type of hardwood? I asked. They weren't sure. But I went with 1.1 inch for strength and stability, and I think that's going to add a lot to each seat. Okay, but what I also did is I went out and purchased some caps. Now these caps are only 1 inch, but I'm telling you, they fit at the end of these nice and snug. So each one will have a cap at the end that touches the ground. I'm going to taper it off a bit, take off all the edges, and then same with the part that goes into the pocket here. I'm going to try and round it off. So that's going to be my next step, is making the legs. I'll bring you back when I have a set done. Okay, so the tripod's done. Now, the legs, I made them 24 inches long. I put some caps on the base, and I also rounded off the part that goes in the leather. I also used number 18 bank line as my string in the middle. Less chance of rotting like paracord. So anyways, it's got very good strength to it. Okay, let's see what it looks like with the seat on. Okay, there you go, seat's on. You can easily just grab it in the middle, fold it up, folds up nice. And it opens nice. I like it. Got a nice spring to it. Now you can adjust this depending on how you want to sit, how many inches off the ground. But I'll put this on the floor. I'll sit in it, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. All right. So right now, it's comfortable. It's my knees are a little upright. It'd be easy to sit by a fire, or you know what? If you're out by a creek doing some fishing, you need a place to sit, not a problem. If you're hunting and you need a place just outside the brush area, on the side of a stream or an open field, this would be great because you can support your arms right on your legs. Feels great. I like it. But I find that 24 inches, it's good, but I want something a little higher. So this is what I did. Again, same structure. These legs are 24 inches each. I didn't mind it, but I want to be a little higher, so I made these legs 30 inches. Okay? The same thing. Now from here to here is 15 inches, and here to the ground is 15 inches. Same as this, okay? That's 24 inches, so from here to here is 12, and then from here to the bottom is another 12. So I wanted to try this to see how it fits. Now, again, seat fits very well. I like it. Now let's check it out for comfort. All right. This one here, 30 inches. It's a very, very nice sitting position. A slight slope on my thighs. Okay. It cups you good. Oh, very, very comfortable. I don't mind the 24 inch. The 30 inch is a chair. This is good. You could still work at the fire. You could still do whatever you want at the camp. But you have a nice height. and it's very easy to get in and out of your chair. You know, very easy. Now, it supports my weight, so you know it's built tough. So anyways, that's the 30-inch legs. That's the 24-inch. I'll put them side by side, and we'll take another look at it. So there they are side by side. Okay, 24-inch legs, 30-inch legs. I like it. If you want to just do a small backpacking or whatever, and you want to carry that, that's fine. Or just carry the leather and then just, you know, cut some branches while you're out there and then just tie it with paracord. And then same with this. If you want something a little longer, make them 30 inches. 30 inches, I'll tell you, I find the 30 inches a lot more comfortable than the 24. And that's just for getting in and out. But I like it. I like it. So anyways, that was just my DIY. A couple of Bushcraft leather tripod chairs. You know what? Give it a try. It's comfortable, and I think you're going to enjoy that. It's a great piece of kit to have with you when you're doing your backpacking or whatever. You need to stop on the trail. Hey, you don't have to look for a log. Just a couple seconds and to throw up a chair. So anyways, thanks for dropping in. And you guys take care. And we'll see you on the next video. Bye now.